Hello Gundam Father of Peace fans, Joshua Gundam here, and this is the much long-awaited review of the Axel Gundam. And as you can see, here's the Axel Gundam in a super cool pose. Does anyone notice what's different about him? His arms have changed. We decided to change his color scheme up a little bit. He used to have Epion version 2 arms with a funny blue thing on them. Now he has Sandrock version 2 arms. So, let's get down to reviewing this figure. First, I'll cover his joints and articulation, then I'll tell you what I used to make him. He has a head that can turn, looks that far down, that far up. It's on a ball joint, so it has a lot of flexibility. Can go about that far. Actually, if the back of the head isn't up, it can go all the way around. But has a slight tendency to catch if he's looking up. His arms go fully around. They are very flexible, as you can see, so you could reach for a weapon or anything. They have a very good range, you know, like that. So I built him to be super flexible. When I was originally designing this Gundam, it's something I worked very hard on, was to make him with the double joints. I have version 2. His legs are the same. They can go that far back, maybe even further. Oops. That happens from time to time. A little too much pressure on that joint, just pop off. You can go that far forward, or that far forward, which isn't bad. It's the skirt that really limits it. And something you might not expect is a swivel waist. Oh yeah, looks up, looks down. How do we do that? I bet you're wondering. Because Epion version 2 does not do that. I'll get to that. Anyways, you know, he does the full turn. Those open up, show off the missiles. The legs have quite a bit of flexibility that way as well. The feet are the only thing that really doesn't have a lot of articulation. That's about all they can do. But they also made his knee go too far forwards. His leg does not actually come off that easily. I just was putting all the wrong pressure in the wrong spot. Anyways, his feet extend out a little bit like that. So that's it for articulation. What did I use to build him? Well, I used the Blue Frame's head. I used Sandrock version 2's arms. Epion version 2's torso. I use the Asura Gundam's legs, Shining Gundam's side pocket things, Shining Gundam's feet, God Gundam's chest Vulcan things. I used Buster Gundam's shoulders, and these are your standard wing gray hands, not Sandrock's hands. The neck is a custom build using a spare piece from a Wing 0 wing. And the backpack is from a Heavy Arms, which I would love to replace it with a Heavy Arms version 2 backpack, which I have lying around. But it'll have to be on my second build of the Axel Gundam because that is super glued on there super tight. And the legs go to, the upper legs go to Wing 0 version 2. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's at least 11 different Gundams involved in the making of this one unit. And the Axel Gundam, I gotta keep this quick, is a mix between the ground type Gundam and the original Gundam. To show off the original Gundam, which, by the way, I mimicked with the version 2. We cut the lower torso down a little bit. The Epion version 2 has a ball joint up in here, you know, on his peg, his spike. So, rounded things off a bit. Anyways, as you can see, the Axel Gundam, despite not having a single Universal Century part in his custom build, looks surprisingly like the original Gundam. They look a lot alike. It also has a strong resemblance to a ground-type Gundam, which I don't have handy to stand next to him. The beam sabers are actually in here instead of on the shoulders, much like the ground-type Gundam. And it has a heavier build than the original Gundam. The Axel Gundam is an alternative, like another company's version of the Gundam trying to win the bid for mass production. So a good portion of Gundam Father Peace follows the efforts of the engineers and Joshua trying to do well enough to get the Federation's attention to go, hey, that Axel Gundam, that thing's pretty sweet, we should mass produce it. Which, you know, obviously they don't. But as the series goes on, you'll find out the reasons why they don't. And a lot of it has to do with politics, as opposed to performance. The Axel Gundam has a ton of onboard weaponry. You know, 2 beam sabers here. It's got its Gatling guns here. It has head Vulcans. It's got its sets of missiles. Let's see. What else does it have? These things right here, I might be counting as Vulcans. They weren't on Epion, but I think they really would make good ones. Just kind of see in there. It'd make great Vulcans. So, he's loaded. I mean, he's just loaded. He's got good boost and everything to make up for his bulk. He's got heavier armor than the original Gundam, which he is built for both space and land. Let's see, what else is there to note about it? There is a chief engineer named Shade who manages the Gundam, but don't think Nina Purpleton because she was annoying. Shade is cool. She's awesome. And she won't be one of those annoying Gundam girls. She's actually going to be somebody who's likable. Anyways, the Axel Gundam was really hard to build. I built him to try and make a cool MSIA custom for my personal collection. And then I started doing stop motion. Obviously, him being my favorite, I wanted it to center around him. He's UC. Even though there's no UC parts in him, I think I did a really good job. It's really hard to make these things come out in a reasonable height because the wing units, as you can see, are considerably taller. And so it was a pain to get the Axel Gundam to be short enough to fit in with the regular UC line. And he takes a lot of Gundams to build. He has a beam saber. I'm thinking of changing the beam blade though, but it's Tall Geese 2 handles. And a modified beam rifle. His weapons are... He's pretty compatible with most ground-type weapons and other weapons as well. That's why I picked those kinds of hands, because they're very compatible. And it may even be possible that Amuro and Joshua will fight side by side at Odessa. I don't know. So much... We're still filming. It's just taking really forever, but we got extra co-editors now, and so that's speeding things up. We're also making a special short called Zaku's Last Stand, which will be airing soon, hopefully. As some of you are watching this video months after it was released, it's probably up by now. And little shout out, as I got about a minute left. These are 3 things that I will trade for, among others. I need blue frames. Primarily, you know, I need the shield and the head, at very least. I need Sandrock version 2, not the version 1, but the version 2. Version 2s have this extra joint. You know, this extra joint in the knees. I need Tall Geese version 2s, and I need Wing Zero version 2s. But they don't have to have the wings. I don't need the wings. I just need the legs, really. And yeah, those are the kind of things that I trade for these days. So if anybody has those and you'd like some Gundams from one of my Gundam sales, I can trade, and I got a lot of traders that can vouch for me, and it would really go to help Gundam Father of Peace. So I hope you have enjoyed my review of my custom Axel Gundam, and I hope it encourages you to build customs of your own. Gotta go. Bye.